sweet, lovable unicorn, beautiful Anne Perkins. Welcome, guys, to another character spotlight, and I gotta talk about this character because the show ended last night. It ended last night, and I absolutely love the show. I adore this show. I think the show is hilarious, very rewatchable. I'm gonna have the last season review pretty soon when I catch up and watch all this episodes because I missed a couple. But already, a bravo for ending it, now than later, because this season, I'm going to tell you right now, this season wasn't as good as the previous seasons. But, I mean, this character has always been funny, always been great, always just like, I thought she was going to be the Michael Scott, honestly. I thought, and she somewhat teeny-weeny is, but she really made it her own. You got to give props to Amy Poehler. Of course, we are talking about Leslie Knope. Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation. Now, I absolutely love Parks and Recreation. I think it's such a rewatchable show. I mean, every day I watch at least an episode because I'm still in that Park and Recreation craze. I absolutely love it. There's really not a boring episode. And what it doesn't make boring is Leslie Knope. Leslie Knope is we follow her journey. We see how, she starts in parks. She goes from parks. She goes from pretty much Congress. She goes from was it Congress or no? Congress. Or the seat of the council, and then Congress. I mean, you see the transitions of Leslie Knope, and you follow her and you root for her because you see all the things she's trying to do good for Pawnee. She loves Pawnee so much, and you can get on board with that. You can get on board with a character like that who absolutely loves something and tries her best to make sure that something she loves is taken care of, is appreciated. And everybody just always rags and always nothing ever really goes right for Leslie. Very few times it actually goes right. So she's such a lovable character who's just trying her best. And I think that's who we love characters like that. Somebody who tries her best, does everything she can to make things right. Now, when I first saw Leslie in the first season, I was like, this is a knockoff of Michael Scott. She's ditzy. She's the boss. Nobody really takes her seriously. Tom, especially in that first season. And it's the same people from The Office. You could tell they were going that way, but they said, no, we got to change it up. And you got to think Amy Poehler. I absolutely love how Leslie and Amy Poehler, I've seen her in other movies. I've seen her especially in Baby Mama. And then you see her, hosting these awards. But you know what? When I watch Leslie Knope, I don't think of Amy Poehler necessarily. I think of Leslie Knope. I think of that character really transitioning, really shining. I mean, there's so much layers to emotion for Leslie Knope than, Amy Poehler puts in her other movies. Like, I always compare it with the Baby Mama character and the Leslie Knope. And I'm like, man, look at the difference in that. That character in Baby Mama is more kind of annoying in your face, but I love Baby Mama. Annoying in your face, like very crude, very honest, with her opinion, but she's very lovable. While Leslie Knope is, very honest, wants to try her best, definitely tries to persuade you to change your mind. But she really has different emotions. She could be sad, she could be happy, she could definitely be depressed. She wants to find love, and when she tries to find love, she, with Mark, doesn't work out. She's still hooked up on him. I like that storyline with her and Mark, and they didn't go that route. I loved how they didn't go that route. I love Dave, Lewis C. Clark. Lewis C.K. Clark? Yeah. Lewis. It's Louis. No, Louis. Louis, as Dave. I love that relationship, how he was a cop. I thought that was great. And then when Ben came and got introduced, loved how the chemistry, the dynamic of Leslie and Ben, they were so great together in this whole series. I love how they played with each other, back and forth. You would think Leslie was kind of a nerd, but she's not. Ben is the nerd, and I love how Leslie just gives him extravagant gifts, really always talking about, hey, why don't you turn around real quick, just really being like one of the guys, really, shooting. I think she's done a couple slang words in this series, which is pretty awesome. She goes to April, "What's the 411, baby? You know, what's up, Donna? What you doing?" I love Leslie when she does her little slang words. I love how she eats freaking waffles. She's constantly eating waffles. I love the episode where basically Ben brings her soup and she's super sick. And she was super sick. She goes back to the hospital after she does her thing. And Ben brings her, homemade chicken noodle soup and waffles, but she chooses the waffles over the soup, that's Leslie Knope. That's Leslie Knope. And that episode was something special to see Leslie Knope try. They have to get pretty much investors in on the Harvest Festival, and even though she was like Michael Jordan flu game sick, like Ben says, she still stood up. She was all on morphine, but somehow she straightened up and was able to deliver her speech. That's why we root for Leslie Knope, and that's why she's such a great character, because after that speech, it's like, "Oh, well, I got a question for you. Why is your face all swirly?" I'll be taking the questions now. So, absolutely love this character. I think this character is going to be missed. She's definitely going to be missed. I loved how she fell when they were taking pictures of the pit to put on their webpage. She fell into the pit, and then April's like, or Anne's like, "Oh, hey, the helmet came off," and Anne's like, "Oh, whoa, your helmet fell off." "Yeah, it fell off after I hit that pool." So I thought that moment was great. I thought the relationship with Leslie and Anne, every time, she just. That's her soulmate. We all know that. That's her soulmate. Anne is her soulmate. The big fight they had when she wanted Anne to, be part of Parks and Rec in the health department, work there, and he's like, "You're stupid. No, you're stupid." Drinking snake juice, absolutely hysterical. So Leslie Knope really transcend from the first season onward. And especially this season, you can see a little bit more mature side to her, somewhat. I really love the extravagant gifts. I love the little Galentine's Day she created. She's definitely somebody who's passionate about things. If you don't believe me, look at her folders and all the scrapbooks she does. And it's kind of funny. She's so unorganized in her household, when we first saw her, that she's like organized when her work life and stuff. She likes to juggle things. Even when she was suspended, she was still trying to work. That's a hardworking woman right there. Leslie Knope is one of the best characters I've seen for a while. That's actually funny, likable, and just somebody you can really root for. And you can see why the cast, the side characters like April, who hates everybody, still loves Leslie Knope and will do anything for Leslie Knope. Donna, loving Leslie Knope. Ron, the biggest guy who's always constantly against Leslie, still loves Leslie Knope. He will do anything for Leslie. So let's talk about Ron and Leslie. That dynamic freaking chemistry there. It is, it's not sexual chemistry, even though Ron's Duke Snyder, but it's so great to see total opposites. They really, the writers were smart to go to total opposites on that, to really have it, total opposites, the big two major players of the show. Really, really smart, really great. Love how Ron is always against Leslie, and at times he will fight against Leslie. Especially when he got drunk for the Sweetums. Remember when Sweetums was having that thing? And then Leslie says, "Well, how many drinks do you have?" "I had 3. No, you gotta wait an hour." "Leslie, don't be funny. Don't be serious," or whatever. Leslie, damn it. So yeah, and Leslie's pretty much takes his keys away and waits, and he's like, "Oh, look it. This is how you play 21 and stuff." And Ron's in the car. And he really, you see them get pissed off at each other all the time, especially this newer season when they really were pissed off at each other, which I didn't like. I did not like that. But yeah, just the dynamic. If Leslie can get Ron and April to really love her, to do really anything for her, we, the audience, could love Leslie Knope. And we do. I think a lot of people do love Leslie Knope. And Amy Poehler, she's such a funny woman, and she really did just really make this her own. And I always remember Leslie Knope, and I always go back to watch those older episodes because they are really, really rewatchable. Leslie is the type that, hey, any man, she could do what basically any man could do. If you don't believe me, watch the hunting episode, watch the garbage episode. Watch any episode with Leslie Knope. She definitely is one of a kind, and that is the Leslie Knope way. So thank you guys for listening. If you like Leslie Knope, like the video and subscribe. And let me know your thoughts on pretty much overall the Parks and Recreation ending. I have found out like what happens at the end. I'm not going to spoil it. I haven't watched the episode because I forgot to record it. So I got to watch I want to watch the whole season over again. So, man, it's sad. It's sad to see Parks and Recs go, but I think it's time to let it go. I could have done, Andy Dwyer, a.k.a. Burke Macklin. I could have done Ron Swanson. I could have done April. I could have done Tom. I could have done Ben. I could have done, I could have done Gary. But no one wants Gary. But, I think the show began with Leslie Knope, and it should end with Leslie Knope as a character spotlight. Maybe later on I'll do the other characters, but right now it's all about Leslie Knope and it's all about Parks and Recreation. And I'm sorry, it's sad to see it go, but you know what? It's time to let it go. All good things always must come to an end. Better sooner than later, like The Office, which later on when Michael Scott, they should have ended it with Michael Scott leaving, but they didn't. So, but they did have that, awesome finale. I did love the finale of The Office. So, thank you guys for listening, and Leslie Knope for the win. I believe in Leslie Knope.